Hello, this is Pastor Rick, and I want to welcome you to the Sunday Forum for this Sunday, April the 13th. We have a wonderful topic, singing and praying twice in Lent and in Easter. And I'm joined by Kathleen. Thank you for joining us on the Sunday Forum.
Thank you for having me.
You know, St. Augustine has that famous quote that he who sings prays twice. And it's just true. That's part of our experience, but especially during Lent and Easter. There's just something about these seasons, I think, where music plays a special role. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Now, we want to talk about the cantata that we had last week. It was just a marvelous event, and I want to ask you some questions, but I want to start with one that I heard from some other people, and that is, Kathleen, how do you do it? I mean, there's just so much involved in putting together a cantata. I mean, there's the music, of course, the scores, there's bringing together two choirs, the Marco Island Community Choir, and here our choir at Emmanuel, and of course, the musicians. And so, I mean, how do you do it? But before you answer that, we want to show a clip from the cantata last week, Sanctuary. For those who weren't there, this will give you a taste of what happened last week here at Emanuel. Watch the clip. Okay, that was marvelous. So now, Kathleen, answer the question, how'd you put it all together?
Well, I've been doing it quite a long time, and I've kind of developed a pattern. And my pattern is, as soon as I finish one cantata, I'm thinking about the next one. Okay. So what happens is, after I finish the Christmas cantata, I've already thought of what are the themes I want to bring into the spring cantata. And that usually comes to a head in about June. And I use the summer to look through numerous scores and pieces of music and try and just get together the theme of what I'd like to cover. And this week, this year, I just had a real calling about hope and peace, and I kept hearing that in my prayers. And so up until the end, which was about 2 months before I came back, I was like trying to decide, how do I incorporate hope and peace? And I just stumbled upon a great cantata, and then I start picking it apart and making it what we want it to be, and that's a worship celebration and not a performance.
So does that mean, Kathleen, you're already planning next fall's cantata?
I am. I got a note this morning on tracking all of our dates for our singers and our musicians and who's available on what dates. So it really does start quite early.
Now, these cantatas are not merely a performance. We're all here used to going to musical performances here in Naples. And yes, I guess you could say it's a performance, but it's more than that. It's really a worship event. And so I want to show a clip first to show that Bliese, our director, did a great job. He turns not to the audience, but to the congregation. And, well, he led us in worship and in singing. Watch the clip, and then we'll return to Kathleen. So there you saw it, sort of a unique aspect of this worship event. Tell us about what this means to you, that you're actually leading worship and not just, well, a concert.
That's been my focus on every cantata, is that it is a worship experience, a worship celebration, a coming together, a time of prayer, a time of song and worship. So everything that I choose is focused on a central theme, and I spend, again, probably a month picking those hymns that the congregation, so they feel like they're always a part of the worship service.
Now, we often talk in Lent about having a wilderness experience. And I think it's fair to say you had a wilderness experience this time when you broke your clavicle. Tell us about how that worked and how, well, Bliese comes in and helps the choir along, but that must have been a struggle for you.
It was a struggle, and I kept thinking, maybe I can do this. And then reality set in, and I knew I couldn't. And so, really, very much at the last minute, Bryce Gerlach became available, and he said a neat thing to the choir and me on our first rehearsal when he came for a dress rehearsal. And he said, a year ago, he had an experience like this where he was caught in a situation where the performance was the next day. So it was a neat thing for him to say he was paying it forward.
Oh, how nice. Well, I have to say, it was fascinating to watch you not conduct while you were still conducting behind him. In other words, he's conducting, but you're kind of moving, and you've got the sling on, and your eyes are bright, and
And
the
I
one
was
arm.
trying to behave.
I know. But it was great to see you sort of in the background, fully engaged with the cantata. You know, a final question, and I have watched you, and I know your response. I think I know what it's going to be, because we've got these young people, and they're not only great musicians, they're just wonderful to have leading an event like this as well. Tell our people at Emmanuel, what does this mean to you to be able to conduct and work with young talent like that?
It's one of my loves, and that's to encourage young musicians. In this case, some of these students have played with me 7 or 8 cantatas. One was a high school freshman when he started playing with me. And so it's about developing relationships and meaning and lasting relationships with them. Playing in the church, you'll see them play this Sunday on Palm Sunday, Maundy, Thursday, Good Friday, and all 3 Easter services. So they've become a part of our family here at Emmanuel.
So it's something to look forward to this upcoming Holy Week. All these young musicians will be with us and just adding so much to the worship. So we're inviting you all to Holy Week services to keep this theme going of praying twice in Lent and in Easter, because singing just, well, it lifts the soul. And I think it's really the heart of worship during this Holy Week.
Yes.
So thanks for joining us on the Sunday Forum. Kathleen, thanks for what you do in leading us in worship and in prayer. And as we close the Sunday Forum, enjoy this clip from the cantata. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye now.